Merry Christmas, everybody, and happy celebration to you. I hope you guys enjoyed your Christmas celebration yesterday. It was a very good week for us last week for the predictions and the previews of the Premier League games. Last week, we got 3 or 4 predictions. I predicted the Arsenal game against Everton, which ended 1-0, which I predicted correctly. Also, the Liverpool game against Tottenham Hotspur, 2-1. We got that correct score 100%. We also got the Manchester United against Aston Villa against Manchester United. We got that one also 2-1. I also got some few draws, which are not the real scores, but we got some draws, which was the Chelsea and Newcastle game, and also Brighton. I think Brighton or Sunderland game thereabout. So it was a good week for us last week. Now let's get into this week 18. This is where the first leg of the Premier League games end. Then the next fixture will be the second leg, and that is the serious part of the Premier League. So every team right now, this Boxing Day fixtures till the end of this week 18, it has to be serious for all teams. Some teams are already eyeing relegation already, while some teams are keeping up their stake at the top of the table. Now let's talk about the game between Manchester United and Newcastle tonight. Newcastle squandered a 2-goal lead last week against Chelsea. Chelsea had to fight back to get a draw in that game. It was a very, very tough fixture. We predicted that game a draw. I predicted a 1-1 draw actually, and it ended 2-2, which was a good one as well. So Newcastle are a very, very good team. Now they're a team that are very inconsistent, home or away, but they've gotten good draws at home or good scores at home. They've defeated Manchester City at home and all of that. Now they are going away to face Manchester United, which have not been too good at home in the recent time. They lost to Everton, they drew to West Ham, they drew to Bournemouth 4-4. If you watch that game, that was a very tough fixture, and we had 8-goal thriller in that game. Now they are going to face Newcastle again at home. Last week, Manchester United lost at Aston Villa. Now they need to redeem themselves at home. Some couple of players are missing. They are either at the African Cup of Nations or are injured. Now I'm going to name a few. Mbeumo had a game with Cameroon. He won. Amad Diallo also had a game with Ivory Coast. He scored. Bruno Fernandes, which is another creative player in that squad, also got injured against Aston Villa. Now, with these 3 players out of Manchester United, there is a problem. There is a real trouble because most creative part of Manchester United falls within this players' bracket. Now we have Matheus Cunha, Mason Mount. Are these guys creative enough? That is a problem. That is a big worry. Matheus Cunha got a goal last week, which is a very good one. Against Aston Villa. Now they are playing against Newcastle. A Newcastle side who also have gotten good results away from home as well. In fact, they drew their first 3-game goalless draw. They went ahead to lose against Brighton, lose against West Ham. It has not been rosy in the last couple of games as well. They lost also against Everton before they lost. They won against Everton rather before they lost against Sunderland. So they've only won 1 away game this season out of a possible 8. Now, for Manchester United, they've not won also at home out of a possible 4. So there's a problem. Now, will Manchester United go ahead and score multiple goals and win against Newcastle? Newcastle, Anthony Gordon, Votimada is on fire. Where will the goals come from? The only possible goals right now for Manchester United is either from a set piece or from Matheus Cunha. Sesko is not scoring. There's a problem there. For Newcastle, Votimada, Anthony Gordon are doing well. Also there. So I think Manchester United is not going to win this game. I don't think Manchester United winning. If they do, I'll be very surprised. For Newcastle, I see them scoring, but I don't see them winning also. If they win, that is a good result. Making them pick second win away from home. So my prediction for this game is going to be a draw. Yeah. On a Friday night. My prediction for this game is Manchester United 1, Newcastle 1. It might be 2-2, but let me go with 1-1. Right, so the next game is Nottingham Forest against Manchester City. For Nottingham Forest, they did it, the unthinkable against Liverpool. They went away to Liverpool and they won 3-0. Now, how has their away form been? They've picked up some couple of games away from home as well. Now, last week, they lost against Fulham. Now they are playing in front of their fans. They need to show something. They need to be very, very good at home. They are playing against a team who needs to catch up with Arsenal at the top of the table. That is Manchester City, who has been scoring for fun, picking up points, But when it comes to away from home, they've been very shaky. They lost against Aston Villa. They almost drew that game against Fulham. I'm talking about Manchester City now. They almost drew that game against Fulham. So, and also they won against Crystal Palace 3-0 comfortably. Now they are playing against Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest has also been an inconsistent team, but they are good picking up, points at home. Now, Nottingham Forest sits 17th on the table, while for Manchester City they sit second on the log. This game is always going to go one way, and that way is Manchester City winning. I think Manchester City will win this game. Manchester City are in the better run of form. 5 games bounce win. They've not drawn, they've not lost in 5 games. They've won all. While for Nottingham Forest, they've picked up 3 wins and 2 losses, which is quite good as well, considering where they are on the log. Now, it's going to be a tough game. It's really, really going to be a tough game for Manchester City. But I see them winning. I see Manchester City winning. This is the same Nottingham Forest that defeated Tottenham Hotspur 3-0 in their last home game, which was shocking, in my own opinion. But I think Manchester City will win. My prediction for this game is Nottingham Forest 0, Manchester City 2. Yeah, I think they're going to win. Now to the next game, Arsenal against Brighton. We've almost got our last correct score for Arsenal, and we almost got the previous one as well. So now, Arsenal are going to play against Brighton. Now, Arsenal are playing at home. They sit first on the log. They played against Crystal Palace on a couple of days in the EFL Cup, and they drew that match in full time, in which they went to penalties and they scored. Now, if you take a look at Arsenal, in the last couple of games, they've not scored and from an open play. It's been all set pieces against Everton and also against Crystal Palace. Right. Against Wolves, it was an own goal. I think 2 own goals, right? That Arsenal, won that game. Right. Now, Arsenal struggled to win against Wolves. It was a 90-minute goal from an own goal, rather, that Arsenal won that game. They also scored from a set piece. 2 own goals in that match. I remember it was a corner kick from Saka in which he hit the goalkeeper and went in. And the other one was another own goal. There was another penalty against Everton away from home, in which Gyökeres scored that goal 1-0 last week. And now, against Crystal Palace, another own goal again from another set piece. So, Arsenal have not scored in open play in 3 games. That is a worry for themselves. That is a big, big worry. Now, can they do it against Brighton? Brighton went away to Liverpool, which was their last away game, and they lost 2-0 against Liverpool, in which Ekitike scored 2 goals. Now, I think Arsenal in the better run of form. They've won 4 games and lost 1 in the last 5 in all competition, which is good. Compared to Brighton, who has just won 1, draw 2, and lost 2 in the last 5 games. The odds favor Arsenal. Arsenal has not lost in this fixture in 5 meetings. So, to me, I think this game will be very, very, I want to say tough, but I'll say quite sure from Arsenal to win, because definitely Brighton will come out and play football. They are not going to sit deep and defend all through like Wolves did, Everton did, and Crystal Palace did. So if they would come out and play a high line and open up, I think Arsenal is going to penetrate and score. Now, I think this is going to be their first goal in open play in 3 games. Now, my prediction. Brighton went away to Liverpool and lost. They went away to Manchester United and lost. They went away to Chelsea and won. I don't think they can go away to Arsenal and win. My prediction for this game is Arsenal 2, Brighton 0. Yeah. To the next game, Brentford against Bournemouth. Now, for Brentford, their last game was a win away to Wolves, which sits at the bottom of the log. While for Bournemouth was another draw. After the draw and another draw. So they've drawn 3 games, Chelsea, Man U, and Burnley. Now, they are going to play against, Brentford are going to play against Bournemouth. Now, these Bournemouth are the team full of draws. They can draw games for fun, right? Now they're playing against Brighton, who are good at home, except for the last game against Leeds, in which they drew that match 1-1. Now, Brentford have done good at home this season, right? They beat Aston Villa, they drew Chelsea, they beat Liverpool, they beat Manchester United. They lost 1 goal against Brentford, against Manchester City. So playing at home has been comfortable for them. I don't think they lost player to African Cup of Nations. I think it's going to be a tough game. And the last 5, they've only won 1 game. So they are not in a good run of form right now. While for Bournemouth, has not even won any game at all in their last 5. They sit 14 on the log. That's for Bournemouth. And Brentford sits 12 on the log. So this game has always favored Brentford. I think Brentford will win this game. In fact, let's take it like this. Brentford will not lose this game. Now, for my predictions, I only give correct score predictions, but you can take out the safe options from my predictions. If I tell you Arsenal is going to win 2-0 and you are not sure, then you can play Arsenal goals, right? Okay, so my prediction for this Brentford and Bournemouth game is 2 scores on my head right now. I see Brentford winning 3-2, and I also see a draw, 2-2 draw. But I have to take one, right? So my prediction for this game is Brentford 3, Bournemouth 2. Yeah, or 2-1 rather. So we're going to stick with 3-2. Now to the next game, Burnley against Everton. For Burnley, being at the bottom of the long, they've only drawn 1 game in the last 5. Only drew 1 point. Just 1 point they've got in the last 5. They are not in the best of form. Everton, yes, they lost against Chelsea, they lost against Arsenal. But when it comes to playing against this team, they can win. They went away to beat Bournemouth now. They also drew Sunderland and the rest, and they beat Wolves. So when it comes to dealing with this team at the bottom of the log, I'll give it to Everton. They will win this one against Burnley. Foster, the striker for Burnley, is at the Nations Cup. I think they lost another player to the Nations Cup as well. So for Everton, it's only Goye and Ndaye. Their best defensive midfielder and their best attacking midfielder are with Senegal at the Nations Cup. Now, it's going to be tough for them because in the creative spark of that Everton's midfield, you only have Grealish. You know, Diblin is not getting it right now. And Drewsbury is still injured. I don't know if he's back. So it's going to be tough. But I see Everton winning this game. So my prediction for this game is 2 scores again. Burnley 1, Everton 2. Also, Burnley 0, Everton 2. I'm going to pick one, right? So stick with me. My prediction for this game, if you want to play safe, over 1.5. My prediction for this game is Burnley 0, Everton 2. Now to the next game, Liverpool against Wolves. Liverpool against Wolves. For Liverpool, the last 5 games has been good. They've not lost, which is good. You know, they're beginning to pick up themselves again, right? They've won 3 and drawn 2 out of their last 5 games in our competition. While for Wolves, they sit 20th on the log and they've lost 5 in all 5 games. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Right now, even the blind man knows that this game is in the favor of Liverpool. But the Premier League is different. Shock can happen in the Premier League. But I don't see one happening here. Liverpool sits 5th on the log, while Wolves sit 20th on the log. Now, Liverpool has dominated this fixture in the last 5. They've not even dropped a single point. So I think Liverpool is going to win this game. Liverpool has had some series of good results at home as well. But just for the last game, right, which was a win against Brighton. Other than that, they drew against Sunderland, they lost against Nottingham Forest, they won against Aston Villa, and it's like that. So I think for Wolves, against Arsenal was a narrow loss. Against Aston Villa was a narrow loss. and that's their last 2 away games. So this particular one should be, I don't say narrow loss though, but I see them conceding at least 2 goals. My prediction for this game is Everton. No, sorry. My prediction for this game is Liverpool 2, Wolves 0. Yeah, because they're going to defend. It might be 3, but I'm going to stick with 2 goals to 0. Now to the next game, West Ham against Fulham. For West Ham, they've impressed me in the last couple of games. Their last match was a 3-0 loss to West Ham, to Manchester City, which was not a good result for them, but it is Manchester City, so we will take that as like a waiver for them, right? So now they are playing against Fulham. This is a London derby, and it's going to be very tough. Fulham lost Chukwueze to the AFCON, Iwobi to the AFCON, Bassi to the AFCON. 3 important players who start in that team recently for them. Iwobi and Bassi are starters. Chukwueze just became a starter, right? For West Ham, I think it was only one player that they lost to AFCON. I think their left back who plays for Senegal or so to AFCON. I think they are playing at home and they stand a chance of doing something at home. Now, they sit 18th on the log, and these are the type of games they need to pick points against a Fulham side who sit 13th on the log as well. Fulham has only won 1 game away from home this season. So winning against West Ham, I don't see that happening. I think West Ham will come out to play football. I think in their last 5 games in all competition, they've not won. I think this is an opportunity for them to win, at least, to pick up something. West Ham needs to fight. This is the point in which they need to start fighting for their survival in the Premier League. They almost pick up something against Aston Villa, and they lost to Liverpool 2-0, and they won to Burnley, won to Newcastle. So I think they have everything it takes to pick up something against Fulham. I don't want to say a draw, but I don't see West Ham losing. My prediction for this game is, you can play it over 2.5, right? But my prediction for this game is West Ham 2, Fulham 1. I wrote 3-2 here, but I think West Ham can win 2-1. It's going to be very close. No matter who wins, which I think West Ham will win, it's going to be a very close game. So I think West Ham will pick up a victory or a point. I don't want to say a point, so I say 2-1. Now, this is the next game, big one. The next big game is Chelsea against Aston Villa. Now, for Chelsea, when it comes to playing big teams, they always stand up. They always do well. Now, when I say big teams, I'm talking about Aston Villa. Yes, Aston Villa is a big team this Premier League season. They are 3rd on the log. They sit 3 points behind Arsenal. They defeated Manchester United. They won 10 games in a row. So, this is a big team. Playing against Chelsea, Chelsea know how difficult it is to defeat or to play against Aston Villa. Now, there's a catch here. Aston Villa has lost some couple of games this season against Liverpool away from home, but they did the unthinkable as well. They went away to Spurs, to Tottenham Hotspur, and they won. So, in as much as they have the perfect or the very good home record, they lost 1 game at home, which was for Crystal Palace. Apart from them having a very good record at home, away from home also, they are not that bad. They won against Tottenham Hotspur. They won against Brighton. They won against West Ham. In fact, their last 2 away games they've won. So I think against Chelsea, knowing fully well how Chelsea sometimes can fumble at home, Chelsea have against Sunderland, Chelsea lost. Against Brighton, Chelsea lost. Though I think those are the 2 games Chelsea have lost at home. But when it comes to playing those big sides like Arsenal, like Liverpool, Chelsea have not lost. In fact, 1 win, 1 draw in those 2 games. Win against Liverpool, draw against Arsenal. I don't see Chelsea losing. Something just tell me Chelsea will not lose. Now, Chelsea needs to win or draw, right? If Chelsea is not going to lose, Chelsea must win or draw. Yeah. So my prediction for this game is Chelsea 1, Aston Villa 1. Now to the next game quickly. Sunderland against Leeds. Sunderland against Leeds. For Sunderland, they sit 6th on the log. For Leeds, they sit 16th on the log. I think Sunderland has everything it takes to do something and to pick up points against Leeds United. Leeds United in their last game, they won 4-1 against Crystal Palace, which was a very good result for them. So I see them doing something against Sunderland. But Sunderland away from home, at home, are very comfortable side. Leeds will score, Sunderland will score. But I see Sunderland picking up something in this game. You know, they've picked up very good result at home. They draw against Everton, they draw against Arsenal, you know, they win Bournemouth, they win Newcastle in their last game. So I think they stand a chance of, you know, picking maximum point against Leeds United. Leeds United are very comfortable at home, but away from home, they are not that thing. They've only won one, and that was against Wolves, who sit 20th on the log. So my prediction for this game is Sunderland 2, Leeds United 1. It might be 3-1. It might be 3-1. But I think Sunderland 2, Leeds United 1. Now to the last game of the weekend, which is Crystal Palace against Tottenham Hotspur. Crystal Palace lost heavily against Leeds United in their last game away from home. While for Tottenham Hotspur, they lost 2-1 against Liverpool at home. I think both teams are wounded. This is a London derby as well. I think Crystal Palace losing some players to the AFCON also. I think they lost Sarr to AFCON as well. Spurs are very inconsistent. When you expect them to lose, they win. When they expect them to win, they lose. So don't blame me if this result doesn't come, because I know Tottenham Hotspur. When you expect them to win, they lose. So they give me different vibe, especially with Fulham also. Fulham is another culprit. So Crystal Palace sits 8th on the log. Tottenham Hotspur sits 14th on the log. This fixture has been draws. Like, when I mean draws, like one side has not dominated the other side very well. You know, but Spurs have won 2 games only in their last 5, while Crystal Palace have won 1. I think this game is going to be tough. Going by what I saw against Arsenal in terms of their defending, it's good. My prediction for this game is Crystal Palace 2, Spurs 0. Predictions are not always 100% correct, so good luck.